What is going on, people of the extranet? Tyler here with Random Automotive, and here we have a 1978 Jeep SJ. Wait a minute, I've showed you this vehicle before. Okay, so I've done a little bit of work to it, just a few things. I've painted it, fixed some rust repairs, buffed the grill out a little bit, put an ignition coil on it, changed all the spark plugs, to put a new battery in it.
2,000 years later.
Primered the whole vehicle, tried to pull a dent out. So I've done a lot of things, and I'll admit I haven't videoed it. Life has just been crazy, so I haven't been able to video every moment, and kind of wanted to come out here and just work on it when it's therapeutic. So there is a couple of new issues that have developed since then, and some things that we fixed since then too. So let's get started on it. So just a kind of basic walk around. Turn signal lens is missing there. It was there in the first video. It actually got cracked when I was taking it off, and apparently that's not a cheap object to fix. I got some primer down there on that. You know, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on body work. Very botched Bondo job in the back that I'm not even going to show you. We'll fix it all one day. There's the rear end of it. It does look like a whole new video, or whole new video, wow, a whole new vehicle. However, I mean, this is a very botched paint job. It's a, what I call the poor man's special. Let's show the interior. Door jambs haven't been painted. I have put carpet in, but I haven't secured it yet or trimmed the edges or anything like that. She's just in there. Passenger seat's in there. I don't know if you remember before, but it wasn't bolted in, and it was way back in Tupac mode. The bench seat's back there too, and is installed. And the interior is relatively complete. I mean, other than the missing headliner there, which is actually over in the garage. But I do want to show you a couple of things as far as mechanical stuff goes and electro-digital. So note to self, if you ever pull the that's nice, that's not even screwed in, that might be part of my problem. Anyway, if you ever pull the gauge cluster out, disconnect the battery first. I found out the hard way that there's a screw back there with a positive lead, and you can see it here in this picture, and notice that the end's sheared off. Well, it welded itself to the dash right there, which was great. So I had to figure that out, and that's always good. So let's start it up. I've noticed that the engine is, she's down a cylinder. She's just not happy at all. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think it's the spark plug wires, to be honest with you. They're just garbage, and I couldn't find any locally without the kind that you make, and I just don't like those. I never do it right. So the instrument cluster, can't never say that word right. You notice when I first turned the key over, the fuel gauge was a lot higher than it is now. I'm having an issue where, even when off, the gauges are going down and back up constantly, which is like it's a grounding issue, which I noticed this wasn't secured all the way against the dash. I don't know if it makes a contact for the dash, but it kind of seems that way. We'll keep an eye on that. But anyway, so let's start it up and you'll hear that misfire. That's what you don't do to your starter. She's idling a little bit low. I turned that high idle down so she would quit acting up. So that oil pressure is slowly building. However, it seems a little low, and I think these gauges are actually reading correctly right now. But you'll notice that it's kind of bouncing back and forth. You can see it's climbing, and the gauges are behaving better. So I think that issue is actually just a grounding issue. Maybe this isn't making contact to the dash like it should, because earlier I made my first attempt to film this video, and they were just going zero back up. And this oil pressure never raised above the yellow line there, which had me concerned, but it's actually just a grounding issue, I think, now. Because when I press this up against the dash, how it should be, notice how everything kind of climbs to what seems to be normal. So we do have a misfire. I don't know what cylinder yet. I don't know if you can hear that or not. As I've told you in the other videos. It's also prevalent if you put it in reverse. I don't know if you can tell in the video how it's shaking or not. No windshield yet, by the way. That's coming in hopefully the end of this week, first of next. I have started putting the seal in for the windshield. However, it's not all the way in because I was fighting it like a bear right there, and I just decided to give up. So actually, all the pressures look better, so I believe that to be a grounding issue. We are in reverse. You can definitely hear that misfire now if you give it some gas. Back to park. go around to the exhaust and listen to it. And you hear that pop, 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 pop. That's that cylinder misfiring. It rained a lot the other day, and this was outside. And I think that has to do with it. Oh, look at that. She's just shaking away. Let me open this hood. Hang on a second. So I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I can definitely tell looking at it. She's definitely running on 7. I'm going to try the spark plug wires. I also got a new lightning cap and lightning rotor that goes on there that may fix that issue. I don't think it's a dead cylinder or anything like that, because 2 days ago, without running it much at all, we didn't have this problem. That's a new issue that's just developed. I had a grounding issue with this headlight. This one was very dim and that one was very bright. I think I've got that fixed. Let me show you. And most of the exterior lights work. There's that common rust spot that happens everywhere. Oh yeah, I'm noticing now though that the oil pressure looks a lot better, so I'm thinking those gauges just aren't grounding like they should. Back to the headlights. They are of equal brightness now and working. That lens cover, I think I said earlier, but it broke, or sort of, it chipped away, and they're a lot more expensive than I thought. No working light here. No working light there. Back to work. She smells a little rich too. I think it's because that spark plug is either not firing or something's going on with it. No gauge lights. Never figured that one out. A lot of people say that it's in this switch here, and forms on this thing are virtually non-existent. It's hard to find any information or any parts for this thing really that are unique body identifiable parts, like the turn signal lenses and stuff like that. I saw one website that wanted $75 for 2 plastic lenses, and I was like, wow. So the other bad things I've noticed, and they're not really that bad, I'm probably not going to run this too long. Horn don't work. Anyway, and they're not too awful. She's got a power steering leak. That power steering pump's just very grimy. The second thing, and I don't know if you can tell or not, you used to could, but radiator's got a leak. She's leaking slowly in some spots. And I did confirm, it kind of looked oily, but it ended up being coolant. But she's running. She runs good, other than she's running on 7. I guess we can take it down the road. I don't want to drive it too far, firing on 7. That piece of tape's over the wiper arm. It's not something just flapping around there. The dash cleaned up pretty nice. Went over with it with a few chemicals and it did pretty well. Carpet makes a huge difference. Yeah, she's definitely missing. But we're going to drive her just down the road, a couple houses and back. If that dog will move out of the driveway. Can you see him? Out there he is. Random automotive truck. So I'm thinking about getting some new spark plug wires for her, if I can find some that are already pre-cut. Like I said, I hate cutting the ones that are custom made. I don't know, a lot of guys do it, but the last set I did were really good, but the other ones just weren't too great. Still got that popping when I turn the wheel in the rear end. Apparently that's a very common issue on these with this Quadra track. Definitely some squeaking noises going on. You're going to hear a lot of wind noise because there is no wind shield. Although she does seem like she's driving a little bit better than she was earlier. Maybe she was firing on 6 earlier and she's on 7 now. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Speedometer works pretty good. Yeah, we'll turn around here. I don't want to go too far. Sometimes that speedometer catches because that little glass piece is missing. 73,217 miles. Of course, that's a 5-digit odometer, so you never know. I am going to say that it's 173, not 273. It's hard to tell. This was a Indiana mobile, meaning that rust is pretty prevalent on it. There's second gear, no problem. But you can definitely tell that misfire is there, and we're gonna have to look at that. Got her up to 18 there, and she's gonna stick there now until I twinge that glass a little bit. I'm gonna have to pull that out and see. I can definitely see the headlights are working. Oil pressure is good for idle. You can see that light's twinging, so I think we've got a grounding issue. I know that light comes on when you've got a turn signal that's out, and I know that bulb is loose and kind of wiggling around in there. And she's running rather low on gas too, and I think this is accurate now that that's secured a little bit better than it was. I got to tighten that screw in. I forgot what I was saying now, but so we got to figure out the spark issue. The spark plugs are new. I have a distributor cap and rotor button ready to go, and I'm gonna have to see about wires. I'll go ahead and park her in the carport. But otherwise, power steering's good. I was able to get the glove box open. Got the Quadra-Track emergency drive. I pulled the light bulb out for it, but it would light up at one time. You can hear it hissing away in there. Brake light works. Also, got to figure out what's going on with the blower motor too. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off. You may hear it diesel. Yeah. Got to do some tweaking to the carb or something, because that has not stopped. It's not as bad as it was. I did do some tweaking when I brought that idle down. I thought maybe the idle was fast and that was what was causing it. But no. Anyway, I'll show you what this blower motor is doing. So you see the amp meter here. Here is the fan switch. I'm only going to do this briefly. So no sounds from the blower motor at all. But I mean, it just makes a current draw like no tomorrow. I got to figure out what's going on with that. So I will have new videos on this soon. Like I said, I apologize for not posting on the ones that we've done so far. It's just been a crazy couple of weeks, and we're trying to figure out all what's going on and what exactly I want to do to this. The interior, like I said, is in pretty good shape. The headliner's kind of meh, but it gives that starry look like the Rolls Royces have. So, you know, just throw a couple LEDs and it'll be good. Dome light, it only works with that door, so it is what it is. So I will have new content that comes up soon, guys. There's the blinker. The switch is rather rusty. I think there's something going on with the switch too. We'll have to figure out. Anyway, so we got a lot of videos that will come up on this. Again, apologize for not having one out sooner on it. For some of the things we've done. And of course, if you have any comments or, you know, suggestions as far as some of the problems we're having, I'll be glad to take them. You know, I'll definitely try to diagnose them myself, but any help's always appreciated. But you can see that those gauges are starting to dance again. They're just going up and down like no tomorrow. Not as bad as they were, so I have some sort of weird issue going on there. But until next time, we'll catch you in the next one. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you'll want to see the updates that we have on this. It's pretty cool, and you want to see some of the other videos too, so make sure you do that. If you enjoyed this video at all, whatsoever, even if you didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. It really appreciates, it really helps me out as far as just how you guys are awesome. So we'll catch you in the next one. Until next time.